观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎来到本次的傲神金股小股票大收益，我是 Angel。今天我给大家带来一家新的公司，之前应该也有在我们的微信还有我们的官网上有推过。它是 OTC 的公司，代码是 Tbrif。这家公司非常有意思，我先跟大家稍微介绍一下啊，先认识一下它的 CEO Rob。Hello Rob。
Hi Angel, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you. Thanks for attending our interview. So I will introduce Thermobright quickly, and then let's go into the interview part.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
所以那个Thermobright 这家公司它是加拿大的啊，它是做医疗诊断跟设备的一家公司。它现在最新研发了一叫 Activate 新冠的一个快速抗原唾液检测啊，然后呢还有一些其他的一些辅助的医疗设备。那最要先说一下他们的一些产品，他们产品线很多，像有这个刚才有提到的，还有这个是做就是那个皮肤灼烧风险，它是受控的这个。还有这个是一种无需止痛药就能缓解的。还有这个是做治疗减轻血液循环不良导致的一个压缩泵。这个叫 Thorough OSAP， 它这个是缓解疼痛瘙痒啊，减少皮炎的反应啊，是针对虫叮咬的。那它是2001年成立的公司，也是蛮多年的，在加拿大的多伦多，目前是在3个交易所上市，分别是多伦多交易所，代码是 THRN， 在我们的 OTCQB TBRF 和法兰克福是 JNX。那最近的要提一下是他们一个新的技术叫 VanoWave 这个技术，它是预防雪山的一种技术，那从源头上去减少中风的一个风险那更值得注意的是，它还宣布了就是投资以色列的一家中风血凝块回升技术的这家公司，来去布局全球的缺血性的中风市场。好，那后面我就是搜集了几个大家之前有问过我的一些问题，那今天趁着 CEO Rob 在，我们一起把这个问题给问一下。Okay, so let's start first question. I collect a question from the audience base, and they ask me like, what are your advantage and disadvantage compared to your competitors?
Okay, wonderful. Well, we have a number of different products. I mean, if I go through some of the top products that we have in our portfolio, for example, VenoWave, which is a compression device which helps boost circulation. It actually prevents blood clots. This device is designed with wave technology, so it actually moves the blood more actively from the calf, the lower limbs. That's typically where blood clots are formed. 90% of blood clots form in the calf. So instead of the compression technology that you have today, which basically squeezes the leg, this uses an active form to push the blood, and it's very effective in that regard. The other products, for example, we have the Instatin drug that we invested in, which is it's a drug company, but we're focused on repurposed drugs there, and repurposed drugs typically take less time to get approved because they passed all the safety and the efficacy requirements of the FDA. So what we're doing in working with Instatin and Invixa, the two companies, is to develop a respiratory drug for asthma, COPD, COVID, etc. And the form of delivery would be used with an inhalation device. And we have some of the top experts around us to help develop that. We just announced some new add-ons. The chairman of the board and the existing CEO of the company is very well established in that field. So we think we have a real big game changer there with the Instatin product portfolio. I'm looking forward to developing that. The other product is the clot retriever. We announced a deal with Inretio out of Israel. And this is a very exciting opportunity as well. It's a clot retriever, use a catheter that goes in through the, and it's able to remove clots, ischemic blood clots, which are clots in the brain. And this device is very novel in the sense that it can go after the distal portion, so that the clot, that's the part that's furthest away, and it has a very unique basket that opens up over the distal portion, and then it's able to pull it through the body. And that product actually is currently in current lab studies with animals. It's showing 85% effective rate to remove the clot, versus, you know, currently the competition in the market's around 50% effective. So this would be a real game changer in saving lives for anyone that's experiencing ischemic clots. And then the other product is we have two products kind of. There's an analog product and there's a digital product, the cough AI, the DCT digital cough test. We're very excited to announce that we have the exclusive worldwide license for this technology, and the founder was one of the first to patent the technology. We're looking at using the sound from the cough to detect various diseases, you know, asthma, COPD, any type of respiratory disease. That's what our license enables us to expand on. We're very excited about this. It initially was for COVID. They did a lot of tests on COVID. So they have a very good database. Now we're looking at expanding that database and collecting the data for other respiratory disease, and then being able to detect. Really is a screening tool. It's not a diagnostic, it's a screening tool to be able to determine what that individual is suffering from. And then the nice tie-in with our AccuVid, which is the analog test. And the difference with that test and what's in what was in the market with these nasal tests, it's using saliva to detect COVID. So we would use the digital cough test, and then we'd move towards, you know, the analog type test like the AccuVid. So it's a nice fit. It's a nice marriage between those two tests that we have.
Got it. 我刚才问了他第一个问题，就是相比竞争对手，他的优势跟劣势啊，他基本上都回答了很清晰。那么他的产品非常多，我们一个一个说啊。他最先说的是，应该是这个 VanoWave 啊，它是我刚才有说，它是一个治疗减轻血液循环不良的一个压缩棒。那它的方法跟别人的压缩棒会很不一样，很多就是我不知道大家知道吗？就是压缩的那个棒会对血液会造成很大的一个，它是减轻血液的一个影响，然后它的技术跟现在它的竞争对手会不太一样。然后他还提到了这个 Intercept。这家其实是他购买的，那从速度上来说，很多的 FDA 的批准什么都可以绕过了，因为都已经是现成的啊，这是它的玩法吧 ，Game Changer 不太一样的地方。然后提到他们那个ACU 这个 VID， 这个是抗原的快筛，那它配合这个还有一些别的一些诊断的一些医疗的技术设备，包括电子的啊什么的。那现在它很快的从单为新冠肺炎来做快筛诊断跟技术，可以用到你咳嗽也好，肺炎也好，哮喘也好，都能够用上。那包括它还有鼻喷雾啊，它之前是对防止新冠会有很大的一个帮助作用，那这些都可以现在后新冠时期可以用到别的一些方面去做一个辅助的治疗。然后呢，就是他有宣布那家以色列缺血性中风的血块回收这家公司，他是把它去投了这家公司的目的是因为现在目前市场上大概是把那个中风的血块回收大概是50%的成功率，但他这家公司在动物实验上面目前已经达到了85%，这是一个非常有意义的一个创举吧。Okay, let's move to the second question. What is your strategy to increase the market share?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, you know, I think you were talking about this here, but we have two divisions, really. We have sort of a consumer products portfolio, like the Intercept, the TheraZap, and the AccuVid. That's all part of the consumer product portfolio. And we have the institutional or healthcare focused portfolio. And I think currently the opportunity for us to pick up market shares with the VenoWave and the AccuVid, which is the saliva test for COVID. But the real big opportunity that we're working on, we announced recently with VenoWave, that we applied for a number of new temporary codes that expands the application or indication for that blood circulation product. So what that allows us to do is we've applied in the US through the appropriate association for permanent codes for these new 8 indications or applications for those codes. So that allows us then to get reimbursed through Medicare and Medicaid. And we're actively working with several distributors in the US to help us distribute that product. So right now they've submitted the application under the temporary codes, and then we're waiting to hear back what we get in terms of the reimbursement for per pair of the VenoWave. Once you get the permanent codes, then it's much more simpler to get paid from the payers, like the Aetna Lifes of the world, etc. So we're very excited about that. I think we're just around the corner from receiving sort of the test market with the temporary codes, but also those permanent codes. And that really opens things up for us for sales. There's a lot of demand. We've had some indication from some groups that they would replace all of their current compression technology with the VenoWave device because of the reimbursements being much higher. And there is really nothing out there in the compression space that has permanent codes that we're going after. So it's a big opportunity for us in that respect. The other products, they're a little more early stage to get to market. But, I think, for example, like take the clot retriever, that has massive potential once we go through the human trials. We did the animal trials, or the Inretio did. And so sometime in the early summer, they're going to do the human trials. Then I think there's a huge valuation jump there at that point in time. And then you're talking about potentially even partnerships. The big players in the space, you're talking about Stryker, Medtronics, J&J. These are all the big players in that space. So I think you could potentially see some type of partnership, or will help the company go public at some point as well. In statin, it's the same thing. It's lots of potential. They have to complete sort of their R&D and get to the point where we show the efficacy of the product, safety, etc., which we think with this team, it's phenomenal. I think we've got an A1 team with the Instatin Invixa group there. So we're excited about that. Picking up market share with Acuvid, what everyone has to realize now is, COVID testing has dropped off a cliff, of course, but we are still working on a CE opportunity that has been presented to us to sell the product around the world, because it is very convenient. You get your result in 15 minutes. You're using saliva. It's very useful for children as well. Children, it's much easier to give a saliva sample than it would be a nasal sample. So we're excited about that. And then with Health Canada, we're waiting on Health Canada to give us the approval. We've been back and forth, and the last email we got from Health Canada on that Acuvid test was that the product has gone through the final stage. So we're hopeful that we can get that finally approved with Health Canada. And with FDA, we're looking at various options with FDA, including potentially maybe like a home study. But we're looking at different partnerships as well there. So it's a little early to tell you more about the FDA approach. And then the other products like Intercept and Therosap, those are consumer products. We're redesigning those right now. We do have some inventory of the Intercept, so we'll look to sell some of that in the US market. We're looking at social media and various channels to do that. We just hired a new group to help us with that. And then the Benapod, I think, is great technology, very simple contrast therapy to prevent, it's really used for chronic pain and, in the muscle or the joint. And what it does is it uses hot and cold, back and forth, thermal therapy, and it relaxes the nerve and it sends a signal to the brain that the pain has been relieved. So we're looking at all kind of social media, e-commerce, etc. for that consumer portfolio.
Understood. Thank you. 我刚才有问他第二个问题是市场拓展的战略啊，他基本上把他旗下的产品每一个战略都有解释。那基本上是2块，一个是个人的一个产品 consumer product， 还有一块是机构的 institutional 的一个产品。那今年主要的 战场是一个是 Venwave 这个就是医用的这个压缩泵这块，还有一块就是刚才有的 IQVID 是目前是抗原的快筛，那 IQVID 它还能衍生出其他的一些诊断跟辅助的一些技术设备包括电子的这些都会有，这2块是它今年的主要的，然后从Zero 对 SAP 这一个它是很有意思，它是一会儿热一会儿冷，为了去减轻那个疼痛，肌肉的疼痛包括瘙痒也能够减成炎症的一个反应。这一块它准备是走个人这块，会找一些网红大 V 包括电子商务的形式去社交媒体去推那么总体来说，今年的战况战略策略是两手都要硬，一个是个人产品继续会拿到更多的一些批准，像 FDA 这些都会拿到。那据每一个产品新的一些进展，欢迎大家关注我们的公众号follow 我们的公众号，还有我们的官网 ChineseFN.com 上面都可以看到，还有去subscribe 去接受我们的 email alert， 我每天都会去发如果这家公司 Brant 有什么更新的新闻欢迎大家去了解。Okay, the third question is, do you have any expected time to get a license?
The license for which, we have lots of products. You're talking about the digital cough test, DCT? Yeah, so with that product, what we're going to do is we're going to look to submit for clearance with the FDA. So what that allow us to do is we submit that pre-sub with the Q-sub, I should call it, not pre-sub, Q-sub with the FDA. And then what that allows us to do is collect data on various respiratory diseases. We build up that database. And then what we would actually do later on is look at doing sort of a clinical study for various diseases, whether it be tuberculosis or pneumonia, that kind of thing. So this is a really powerful way to go about getting the approval. And then we can start looking at partnerships with various technology companies, cloud providers, and working closely with them. We've actually had a lot of interest from various technology companies, well-known technology companies that you would know, looking to work with us to install that on their devices or on the cloud, etc., and using it with their enterprise clients. So we're excited about that, and I think that's a great opportunity for us to get into the market quickly with that product.
Understood, thank you. 我问他，因为他是产品很多我收集到的有人问我这个问题是，他说他们的时间点去拿到一些牌照嘛，因为他的产品非常多。那刚才我就问他，你有没有想过多久能够拿到那个 license， 能够拿到牌照？他说他有那么多产品，问哪个？他说是问 DCT 那个产品呢？我就说是的。那 FDA 那块是要一步步来的。现在呢，他们是动物实验，然后后面会做那个研究室 clinical 的一些实验。那主要他现在还和很多大的一些机构去做合作，大家能想到一些美敦力包括强生等等都会做合作。那未来说具体什么时候拿到牌照还是要看推进吧，那我们还是后续继续来跟踪，好吗？好。The fourth question, have you expanded product into US market? If yes, what's your planning or milestone, such as the time to get 510K?
Yeah, okay, so again, the 510K, in this case, we're going to get clearance with the DCT, and then later we would do 510K when we have more specifics, when we can compare and look at the other disease with DCT anyways. In terms of expanding to the market, the VenoWave is 100% focused on the US market. That's a massive market for that technology, and we think that's where we're going to spend our time with that device. And we've had a lot of interest, like even from the VA out of the US, there's VA hospitals, etc. We're looking at groups like that. We have distributors that, sell 40,000 units a month. If we were able to do that with our product, at anywhere from, call it 650 per pair to $1,000 per pair reimbursement, you start doing the math, everything adds up very quickly. So we're going to just spend our time there. with the circulation booster, the VenoWave. The other products, like all the consumer products, we're strictly going to focus on the US now. Like we're talking to Amazon to sell there, and then obviously different portals, e-commerce portals, with all those devices like the cold store, the Theros app, Insect device, Benapod. The low-hanging fruit would be like, you know, the Benapod and the VenoWave for the US market. I think those are the big ones that we can get into. And then again, we'll look at different channels. The VenoWave is more institutional because that's like, you know, selling into doctors and hospitals, healthcare facilities, whereas the other ones are the consumer products.
Understood. And for VenoWave, you mentioned the monthly is like 40,000 the USD, right? Dollars.
40,000 units.
Units.
That one distributor is selling, and you know they've indicated like if they get the reimbursement they're looking for here, then they would transition their entire sales to us. So that's one distributor in one state. So you know, if you can, we'll be very busy just on VenoWave alone.
Got it. It's great. 那我有问他说，就是有没有拓展到美国的一些市场预期啊，然后时间线计划，包括何时拿到510K。那谈到510K，还是回到 DTC 刚的那个产品。那他现在是在 clearance 的阶段，还等 FDA 呢，后面一步步下去。然后他主要是想把那个 VenoWave 啊，就是这个产品。做血栓的这个预防血栓的这个技术 VenoWave 把它推广到整个美国，这是它的主要的今年的一个工作。那 VenoWave 这个更偏 institutional 更偏机构的，那现在其实是有很多的分销商在帮他做，去联系纽约也好啊，然后VA State 啊这些地方。那有一个分销商就是说他们一个月可能就会要4万个，这只是一个分销商报出来的要的一个数量，所以 VenoWave 这块是他今年会推的。那另外一些产品他也会去推，包括像刚才有谈到的亚马逊啊等等这些，那都社交媒体那都是偏个人的消费了，可能会偏这个产品啊和那个 IQVIA 这项产品。Okay, the last question, will you consider entering to Chinese market since it has a big market potential?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I would say we're already in the Chinese market because we manufacture the products there. Like the VenoWave is made there, the Benapod is made there, our cold sore device was made there, the Intercept CS. So we're there already in China, but I think it's attractive, obviously, as a end market to sell the product. I think there's lots of potential there, and absolutely we would look at that market. We had a discussion some time ago for VenoWave to look at that market, and then we'll consider that again. I think that's a big opportunity for us. You know, even with the clot retriever and the drug, the Instatin, the DCT, there's big potential for that. And we have some very good teams around us, you know, with these various companies. One of them in particular, through Inretio, has done a lot of work in China, and they've sold a lot of products. So we kind of lean on their expertise when it comes to selling into the Chinese market. But yeah, definitely, we're looking at that market.
Got it. 我问他最后一个问题是中国潜力巨大，有没有想过进入中国市场？那他说是肯定的。那他像那个 VenoWave 这个技术啊，它是一个预防血栓的一个技术，我感觉这个在中国市场应该是特别需要。我感觉因为我身边我认识好几个，包括我自己啊，我舅舅什么，他们都那个中风了，那这个预防都是血栓导致的中风，所以我感觉这个产品还是非常有潜力的。那好，我今天给大家带来的一家公司是加拿大多伦多啊，2001年成立到今天的。那它在 OTCQB 然后挂牌，然后它的代码是 Tbrif，主要是做一个医疗诊断、医疗设备的一家公司。下面的产品非常多，从新冠的筛选、快筛，包括能够把这个快筛运用到肺病啊，包括 那个哮喘啊，这些都能够去用。还有一些做一些止痛的一些药物啊，能够减轻不良，就是血液循环不良的一个压缩棒啊，以及现在他们要主推的这个 Wave 预防血栓的一个技术啊，包括他们刚刚投了以色列这家能够把血块回收的这个技术。这家公司如果大家感兴趣的话，大家都能够持续关注我们的公众号啊，然后也可以在我们的chinese3分.com 上面去 subscribe， 然后每天接受我们的 email。那今天的节目就到这里，感谢您的收看，我们下次再见。Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Angel.